Sawubona mngani. Welcome back to Zulu Lessons with Thando, the place for modern, conversational Zulu language lessons. Mngani, today let's have a look at a story found on a website called African Storybook. Now, let's get it clear. I do not own the website. I do not work with the people of that website, but it is an amazing resource that you can use to teach yourself isiZulu. Now, let me share my screen and we start with the story. As you might see here, this website is called African Storybook, one word, no spaces in between. AfricanStorybook.org, as in .org. Now you go to read and then only click where it says Storybooks ASB approved. Do not click on the others below because some of them aren't really grammatically correct, or the translations, maybe they are just not fine-tuned as yet. So click on that very first one. And then here, mine is already on isiZulu because that's the language that I am teaching. And so it's always there. But for you, you might be having to start from all languages. So then you can scroll down to isiZulu because it's got all languages spoken in Africa. And so you can then go to isiZulu and then go to reading level and just put it either in ascending order or descending order, whatever you are looking for. I want ascending order. So the titles of the stories are then written here on the side. So if you just look here for the one that you are looking for, if you already know the title, you can just type it there on search for storybooks. Otherwise, you can just scroll. So I'm going to go here on search and search simply just the word funda, so that I can find the story that we are going to work on today. There it is. Ngiyathanda ukufunda. Ngiyathanda ukufunda. You might be asking yourself here, if you have not learned about gerunds yet or verbal nouns, you might be asking yourself, wait a minute. I've learned that after, if we use ya, then we don't continue with the sentence, except maybe to say just the one noun. Well, here we have an actual noun here because this is a verb that has been turned into a noun. For example, the word read in English is a verb. But once you add ing to it, as in reading, then it becomes a noun, a verbal noun, or you can call it a gerund. And that's exactly what we have here. Funda on its own, to read, to study, to learn, is a verb. However, when we add UKU and turn it into a noun, a class 8 noun, then it becomes ukufunda, which is a noun, a verbal noun or a gerund. So ukufunda is reading. And you can use this noun as the subject of the sentence, so starting with it, or you can use it as an object in the sentence like we've done here, that the object is reading, ukufunda, but the subject is I, ngi. So here we are saying, ngiyathanda ukufunda. Ngiyathanda ukufunda says, I love reading. Well, it could also be I like, because the verb thanda is both to like and to love. Now you need context to know whether the person was saying to love or to like. So the person here is Cynthia Mele. Cynthia Mele. Mele is the left hand. Mele. Ngiyathanda ukufunda. I love reading. Ngizofundela bani. Ngizofundela bani. Look at that verb. The verb here, fundela. We've just seen this verb funda here, just ending as a, here as in funda. But now we see it here and having an extension, and that now changes the meaning of the verb. It's no longer to read, to study, or to learn. Now it is to read to someone else, or to read for something, so to learn for something. So maybe say learning for an exam, studying for an exam. So ngizofundela bani, here he's saying, who am I going to read for? Our little friend here, he's saying, who am I going to read for? He wants someone to read for. This is I, of course, ngi. And this article here, that's zo. Don't make it higher pitched, make it low pitched, zo. That zo is the future. Who will I read to? This bani is, you would have seen this many times when we talk about introducing ourselves, for example. When I say, what is your name? In isiZulu, we say, ubani igama lakho. Ubani igama lakho. What is your name? In English, it says what is. But in isiZulu, if you were to directly translate that question to English, it would sound a little funny. It would sound like you're saying, who is your name? So that's why direct translation doesn't always work well. So here we are now. We've dropped the u when we are now asking this question here. We could start with the question word and put it here at the beginning of the sentence and say, ubani. Now you have to, the rest of the sentence, you have to change it to an adverb. Because now you have to say, engizomufundela. Who is the one I will read to? So if we were to then put it at the beginning, this question word, ubani, then we have the u there, and we are saying who is, and then we say the person that I will read to. Engizomufundela. Now here we have a shorter one because we are saying, who will I read to? Ngizofundela bani. But mind that the ELA at the end, which is the most important part of this lesson, the ELA at the end is to do this thing to another or to do it for another. Udadewethu ulele. Udadewethu ulele. Udadewethu is my sister. Udadewethu ulele. My sister is sleeping. Ngizofundela bani. Who will I read to? Umama nogogo bayapheka. Umama, mother, nogogo, and grandma. This we know is and, because this is na. Blended together with the u from ugogo. So we then have the a and the u giving us o. So no gogo. Umama no gogo. Mother and grandmother. Bayapheka. We are talking about two people. So if I was saying to you, Tom and Lindiwe, I'm talking about two people. So they are cooking. And so we wouldn't then use u here just because we've got umama and ugogo. We wouldn't use u here because we're not talking about a singular person. We're talking about two people. So we are saying they. Why are we choosing this they that is ba instead of the they that is z? That is because the nouns we are working here with here, it's class 1A nouns. Class 1A nouns, when they are plural, their subject concord is ba, the same as class 1 nouns. So here we have their subject concord, they, bayapheka. This is in the present tense. This is happening right now. Bayapheka. They are cooking. And here is our verb, to cook. Ngizofundela ubaba. I will read to dad. If I wanted to translate this directly to English, it might sound a little silly because then it would be like I'm saying, I will read for dad. It sounds a little bit silly, but you get the idea. So direct translation can be a real serious enemy. So be very careful of it. So, ngizofundela ubaba. I will read to dad. So look here. We are speaking of a specific person. We are saying dad or father. And so now we've got this u before the rest of the noun. So ubaba, the prefix. Ubaba nomkhulu bakhanda imoto. Oh dear, our friend is just not lucky. The sister is sleeping. Grandma and mom are cooking. Now, ubaba, father, and grandfather, here is our and here, na, umkhulu. So that A of na blended together with umkhulu gives us that, oh, nomkhulu and grandfather. Bakhanda imoto. Pay attention to this one now. Look at the one we just read. Umama nogogo bayapheka. So these two people, they are cooking. We have ya here because we are not continuing with the sentence. We're not even sharing maybe what it is they are cooking or who they are cooking for or where they are cooking. We're just simply saying they are cooking. Now look here. We are saying father and grandfather, they are fixing or repairing the car. Imoto is a car, borrowed from the word moto. Now we have here the verb khanda. Be careful here because the word for a head in isiZulu is ikhanda. We are not talking about ikhanda, a noun here. We are talking about a verb, which means to repair or to fix something. So khanda is to fix, khanda is to repair. There is another definition for khanda, which is to hit something or to beat something. But it's really more, I would say, it's a dialect of the isiZulu that I speak. So in the isiZulu that I speak, we don't actually use that word. We'll say shaya instead of khanda. So that's an aside though. We are now saying this verb here is to fix or to repair. So they are repairing. We don't have a ya here in this between the pronoun ba and the verb khanda. We don't have a ya here because we are continuing with our sentence. We are saying what it is that they are fixing or repairing. We could even be saying where they are doing it or why they are doing it. So because we are adding more information or detail here, we then don't have this ya. Kulungile. Ngizozifundela mina. Kulungile. Kulungile. Kulungile just simply means it's okay. It's all right. It's fine. Kulungile. But pay attention. I'm saying it. It's okay. It's all right. It's fine. That ku is what it is saying. It. And then lungile, which we can define in all those things that I've said now, is in fine, okay, all right. If I said ulungile, I'm saying he or she is all right. You know, so be careful here. I'm not saying he or she, I'm not saying they or any of that. I'm saying it is okay. So that ku here that we are starting with is saying it is. Okay, so it's fine. Ngizozifundela mina. Let's see here. We've got ngizozifundela. We've got an extra article here. Compared to the other sentences that we were reading, they had ngizofundela, which is I will read for or I will read to. And now we have this extra article, which is z. This is reflexive. It is a reflexive object concord. It is saying myself. I will read to myself. I will read for myself. I will do this for me. So if I say to myself, ngiyazithanda, I love myself. Do you hear that z? Ngiya, between the ya, present tense article, and the verb, I have that z. It's reflexive. It's saying I love myself. Whereas if I say I love you, I would say ngiyakuthanda. That ku, between that ya, present tense article, and the verb, that's you. But the z is now saying me. I'm talking about myself. So he is saying here, I will read to myself. And then you have something that you wouldn't have in an English sentence generally. You wouldn't have it in an English sentence. This extra pronoun, which is an absolute pronoun or an emphasized pronoun, mina, myself. You wouldn't have this in English. However, we do have it in isiZulu, so it's something to get used to. It's not something to try and ignore and say, I'll just omit this and not use it, because you'll find people use it a whole lot. So just get yourself used to using these absolute and emphasized pronouns. Here we've got an emphasis. He's saying I, and you're saying me, and he's saying me or myself again. You know, so me, myself, and I, basically, it's that kind of thing that we have here. He's talking about himself and he said, I will read to myself. Okay, so that mina is simply emphasizing that myself. That is the end of this lesson. I do have one little thing that I wanted to add here so that you can just start paying attention to these every now and again when you see them. Look at my sister. My sister is sleeping. This is in the present tense. He's telling us things that are happening right now where he is. And he's saying, my sister is sleeping. But we know the verb to sleep is lala. Why are we not saying udadewethu uyalala or udadewethu ulala embedeni? Because this is a stative verb. It is telling us the state that sister is in. The state she's in is of sleep. And so we are saying udadewethu ulele. So we have this verb now turned into a stative verb from present as in lala. Now it says lele. So we'll work on stative verbs at another time. But I just want you to start paying attention to them, or maybe you can even be going through your dictionary and looking at different ones. But this is one of them. Ulele, she is sleeping right now. So that is the end of this lesson. I trust and hope that you have found it helpful. Usale kahle.